Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you are here. I had so much fun with this look. It is dark and thundering and gloomy outside, but despite that, I made it a goal to be filming today. I hope you guys have as much fun watching this tutorial as I had fun filming it. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, okay, so as you can see, I've already done my skin and my brows. I just went ahead and got some foundation on with my concealer. I did set my skin with a little bit of powder, but I wanted to keep this more of an eye tutorial for you. It's actually a really versatile look, I feel like. You can really make it as intense as you want or as light as you want. I have set my eyes. I went ahead and used some concealer and set it with a little bit of powder as my base. The palette I'm going to use is actually the original Jaclyn Hill palette. So I'm going to be working with this palette for this eye look today, and I'm actually going to be using a mixture of different brushes. My first brush I'm going to use for my transition shade is going to be the JH36 that Jaclyn Hill did her collab with Morphe on. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off by using the shade Pukey, and that color is gonna be this shade right here, and I'm gonna put that in my transition. So I'm just gonna get a little bit on my brush. I always do like to tap off the excess. I'm gonna start off again. I've got the shade Pukey on this JH36, I think it was, brush. I'm just gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna have a farther hold on my brush so that I have a little bit softer of a touch as I just go in and start working this right on into my transition area. So as I have most of my color laid down now, I don't really have anything on my brush. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull my shadow out and just kind of give it little flips. And it's just gonna kind of take whatever's excess and give kind of that natural flare to the shadow, which is what I want with this look. So you can just see, you really almost can't see too much, but you can see how it kind of wants to just shift out a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. Okay, so you can see I have this done. I've got the transition shade here. I did get a good amount of color on there because as I deepen it, it's gonna make it really, really easy as we wanna start blending darker colors into that. Okay, so my next shade I'm gonna be using the shade Roxanne right here, which is just below Pukey, and that's gonna come in. I'm gonna use a little bit tighter of a blender brush. This is the Morphe M139. And I am gonna come in right up under where I put my transition and start kind of cutting and really defining that crease and kind of faking a deep crease. This actually does work with people if they have a little bit more of a hooded lid as well. You can really create an illusion of a crease with this kind of a technique. So I'm gonna get a little bit on my brush. I like this brush because it also has a tapered pointed tip to it. So you can get that really nice kind of precision at the top, but then it also still blends things out very nice. Okay, so I'm gonna come right up here, right underneath, kind of right, if you feel your eye, you can feel where your natural brow bone is. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna just start pressing and drawing this color right in there. And I'm actually gonna kind of flare this up, almost going right up towards my brow instead of curving it down this way. And that's gonna give that extra dramatic kind of open eye crease look. And again, I'm gonna take what's remaining on it and kind of flick it out a little bit. And then I also wanna kind of bring it in and almost do like a V right here in this bottom portion of my eye, which is really gonna carve that shape that we're gonna want to give a lot of the drama. So you can see how that just deepened the crease compared to this side, okay? I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, get it on my brush, tap off the excess. I look like Casper right now. It is storming outside, and so it's really dark, and my room lighting is very, very intense. So I apologize, I look a little Casperish right now. All right. Okay, so this is gonna be looking crazy before it really starts coming together. So don't worry if you feel like things look a little bit messy, things might look a little bit muddy. As you keep blending and kind of building the depth, it's just naturally gonna come together, okay? So don't let that discourage you. You can kind of see, as I have my eyes closed, you can see how that shape is kind of coming together with it flipping out. That is what you want. The other thing I like to do is I'm going through and I'm blending shadows is I like to keep myself a clean, fluffy blender, and I will take it and I will just kind of go over the colors too as I'm building them and kind of more easily blend them together. So I have a clean Morphe brush. This is the E27. It is just a nice fluffy blender, and I'm gonna come on in and I'm going to just kind of blend these two a little bit more right over the top of them, just to kind of give you that more seamless color transition that you'd want. Just kind of lightly go over it, lightly blend. So now I'm gonna come in with an even smaller brush. I wanna come in with more of a kind of like a pencil style brush. So this is another Jaclyn Hill brush. This is the JH38 from her collection with Morphe. I'm gonna come in and we're gonna go even deeper now right into that crease. So we started here and then we went down, and now we're gonna come right on over into this shade. Get that product on my brush. As you can see the product there. Tapped it off on my hand, the excess, and I'm gonna come right up in here, and I'm gonna come right up underneath, getting closer to my actual outline of my eye itself. So where that curve of your eyeball is, you wanna kind of start pressing that right in there. And I do the V again for this, so I'm gonna kind of bring it down here and then just start working the blend. And as most of my product starts getting used again, I'm gonna start kind of manipulating it a little bit more over where I want it, where I don't have so much color on there. So I'm gonna start kind of pushing it in a little bit to give a little bit more shape in there, and then I'm gonna start flicking it out. Okay, so you can see that there now versus this eye, how that brought lower dimension right in here. And again, don't worry if it looks messy, okay? It's gonna all come together. Okay, so we're gonna repeat this. We're gonna do the next eye. And make sure too, another big thing is the angle you're holding your brush. So if I'm coming in here and I'm wanting to go here, but I'm holding my brush this way, it's gonna get more color up here, which is where I do not want it. So you wanna come in at your eye where you want that product to be. So I'm gonna have my hand out this way, and I'm gonna start coming in with the tip actually pressing against my eye so that I don't risk getting color up here where we don't want it. And then once you get your product pretty much off, that's when you can start kind of moving your brush around to work the blend. So I do want it to be kind of up under that side of my crease. I'm gonna be dragging it in a little bit here, flicking it out, and then bringing in that inner V. Okay, so there you go. You can see that on each eye. Now I'm gonna take that big fat blender that I used before. Really doesn't have like anything hardly on it, and I'm just gonna kind of go in and lightly buff. I'm gonna keep this a little lower because I don't want this to go up too much, but I just want to kind of go over the corner a little bit and just soften all the edges, make sure it's nice and soft. Okay, so you can start to see what's happening here. Okay, now I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna use my same brush that I just used for the last color, the JH38. So I'm gonna start using this shade right here. This is called Chip. So it's gonna come in right underneath our Lash shade. And we're just gonna kind of keep repeating these steps and keep building that outer corner. And when you do it this way, it really makes it quite easy as you start building the colors and blend them together. So I've got that shade now on the JH38. And I'm gonna work that right into the corner. And again, holding my brush straight out from my eye. And I'm gonna really start kind of trying to deepen this outer corner now. And I'm barely touching my skin, like just as light as possible to just kind of build it up. And sometimes I find it helps too to have my eyes open when I'm starting to really build the look that I want with my eyes open. I have my eyes open and I actually look at them right next to each other, and I can really see like if I need to, you know, fix something and, you know, I can see the symmetry or the lack of symmetry and make sure then that I even it out from there. So obviously I'm going pretty intense. I really want there to be a lot of drama with this look, but you certainly can do a couple of shades and go, you know, as deep as you want or as subtle as you want and use the same techniques, or even mix up colors. You could do this with purples, and you can start with like some soft pinks like mauves and build into some purples and moving into like eggplants. Like you could do this with any color really, and you can go as deep or as light as you want. You could do this with all mattes. You could do this with, I'm gonna use shimmer on my lid just because I like the shimmer. So, okay, so now that I have this done, I'm gonna take my blender that I've been using. So I'm gonna start blending the edge and just working that in. And again, you can see why that transition shade that we put down at the beginning has been so important, and it's making these colors just blend out so nice. And then if you feel like there's a spot that's a little bit more tricky, add a little more pressure. Don't let colors stress you out, because some shadows just take a little longer to blend than others. Obviously you want the blending to overall be pretty seamless. The other thing that works really, really well, if you're finding you're having an edge just not wanting to blend, oh my gosh, we've all been there. And what you can do is take your blender, and I'm gonna take that first shade Pukey, and I'm just gonna get a tiny, like literally, like I got like the tiniest bit on there, and I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna put it right over the edge of that tone, of that line that I'm trying to buff out, and use that to buff. Just going in with that same shade that I already had down, it just softened the edge, but still kept that kind of drama that I want there. So I'm gonna do that same thing, just literally dabbed like nothing. And I'm gonna come in right along the edge of where that darker color is that's just a little bit harsh on that line. And I'm gonna just buff it out. And now I'm going in with some black, okay? It's gonna be the shade Abyss, which is this black color right in the bottom right corner of this palette. Tap it off good. And I'm gonna come right in the corner first and kind of stamp it down and get pretty much that product right in that corner, which is where I want it. And then once it's kind of stamped there, then I'm gonna start feathering it out. And then I'm kind of flicking. Okay, so see how much that deepened that compared to that. I'm gonna go in, get a little bit on here. Same thing on this side. Stamp it right in the outer corner first and get that product down. And then I'm gonna start working it out. Okay, so this is what my eyes look like from the front right now, okay? Now I can see there's a little bit of messiness right in here, which I don't like. I'm gonna take my original blender and I'm just gonna very lightly kind of go over the edges and lightly blend. Better. All right, we're gonna do the same thing here where I have that little bit of pulling. Better. Soften those lines. Okay, so now we are gonna actually go in and I'm gonna be cutting my crease with some concealer, which is really gonna give the eye the shape that I want and kind of cover any eyeshadow that I don't really want. I'm gonna use the concealer that I used for my skin. This is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and I have Fair Warm for the shade. This is a very, very light shade, and it's very pigmented. So I am just gonna put a little on the back of my hand here. I'm gonna get myself a small shader. This is the Morphe M421. Okay guys, so I have my falsies on. I am just needing to finish my skin and my lip, and this looks gonna be complete. I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna finish my skin. I do wanna do some contouring with some bronzing and blush, my normal staples. So I'm gonna be using the Kat Von D contour palette real quick here. And I have the BH Cosmetics Face Essentials brush. This is 110, and this is a contour brush I use a lot. So I'm just gonna come in and lightly contour my cheek. I love this contour palette. Like seriously, it makes contouring so quick and fast. So for bronzer, I'm going in with the Hoolah bronzer from Benefit, and I have my BH Cosmetics Face Essentials brush number 108. And this is a powder brush. Stamp that in there. And go in and kind of just work some bronzer. I do kind of want some bronze to this look, just because my eyes are so bronzed. I do kind of want to keep that bronze more look to my skin versus blush. I'm going to put a little bit of blush on, but I kind of want this to be more bronzy, I think. Hello, hello. So I'm going in for blush with a new palette I got recently in one of my BoxyCharm boxes, which I've been loving. I've been using it a ton, almost every day. And I think it's Alamar is the brand name. I apologize if I'm botching that. But this is their Colorette blush trio, and this is Fair Light. I'm just gonna do a teeny bit of these two, and I'm just gonna put that right on the apples of my cheeks. Just to bring a little color in there, but not too much, because I love the bronze that we have going. Perfect. I always like to put a little bit on my chin. It's amazing how a face comes together. You know, you can feel like so crazy while you're doing your makeup and as you're going in doing different steps, and then when everything is done, it just all pulls together. Okay, a little bit of highlight just because why not? So I'm gonna be using, I've been loving this highlighter. It's the Masterchrome from Maybelline in 250. I've used it in a couple other videos. And I'm going in with my BH Cosmetics Eye Essentials blender brush, and it's the 101 brush. And I really wanna glow it up with this look, so we're gonna really bring it with this highlight. And I always just kind of bring it up when I have most of it off. I like to come around right around the side of the eye. I think I'm gonna use my finger a little bit and actually kind of put it down the bridge of my nose this time. I feel like sometimes you just get it really pressed into the skin nicely that way with the warmth of your finger. Okay, so for my lip, I am gonna do more of a nude tone, but it still has a little bit of color. So I'm first gonna line my lips. I'm actually gonna use some Jane Iredale products for my lips, which I really enjoy. This is Jane Iredale Lip Pencil in Spice. It's just kind of a real pretty neutral nude tone. So I'm gonna line my lips with that. Okay, so lips are lined. You can see what a difference that makes in my lips because they are littler. And now for lip color, I'm actually also going in with another Jane Iredale product. This is one of her lipsticks, and this is in the shade Lauren. And it's kind of a real pretty brownish tone. I like it. Again, I'm not like a nude lip person. I usually, if I go more on a neutral side, I like to have a little bit of depth still. So this is just a really great color that I love, and it's gonna go real pretty with the eyes. So this is the completed makeup look. I'm gonna let my hair down real quick, fluff it out a little bit, and I will be right back. Okay guys, my look is now complete. I had the best time filming this look. It was so much fun. I am just so happy with the look we achieved. I feel so glamorous, and I hope that you all learned something and that you're able to take some things away that you could apply to your day-to-day routine. I hope that you guys come back for more. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. You can go ahead and click that little subscribe button that I've got on the side of the screen. Also make sure that you ring that bell so that you get notified when I upload a new video. If you give me a thumbs up, that means you liked it, and it gives me good feedback on more content I can be creating. I love you all. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.